If you're ever in a dark room and you're feeling alone and scared, just go to the corner and start jerking off. I don't think there's any ghost that's about to see that. Anyways, it's about time we start this, because it's been over a fucking month. Let's hit it.
Welcome back to Battle of the Sexes.
Welcome to Break Time on Westside, your number one break time podcast show, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. Man on the mic is Sir Denver B, aka Kevin James, aka your man's best friend. We are on Battle of the Sexes today. We are on to a new season. We are on season 3 now. This is episode 25, as you'd probably look at it, but this is technically like season 3, episode 1. But all that aside, I need to get down to the meat of today, besides the fact that I've missed you. If you haven't been looking at the minisodes, go to IGTV, hit up Break Time on Westside, the IG page. Go and look through every single IGTV episode. I did 5 minisodes specifically for IGTV. So if you were listening to the audio version and it didn't feel as well connected, it's probably because the IGTV version, which is audio visual, is a hell of a lot better. Now, that being said, I was legit planning to do a very, very different episode today. I was trying to make it a hell of a lot lighter, but over the weekend, something kind of caught my eye. It was a story about a certain lady who was trying to make it in the music industry in this part of the world, Kenya, for those of y'all that are looking for more clarification. She was trying to get up in the music industry, and she went out, and one of the people who happens to be in the music industry that she has worked with allegedly raped her. The person I'm talking about, for those of you that know her, because her story, she put it out publicly, is Janice Iche. Now, she came out and spoke about her rape and the fact that her friends were careless and the fact that she was mistreated. Different men in the music industry, a lot of which were trying to sleep with her. Now, much as I can't do anything about the music industry, the problem was when I read her story, she wasn't trying to single it out. She was saying men. She was stating just men. These men that are in power. She didn't even go and say some men that are in power. I usually say it a lot that if you're gonna say something that's bad about a certain group of people, go with some. Because if you generalize the whole thing, it ends up coming out as hateful towards other people. So for that, honestly speaking, I didn't necessarily like it. Like, I kind of cringe whenever I see or hear someone saying, oh, these men are perverts, these men are trash, men are sexual predators, as if women aren't. And I'm not saying this to fight women or to sort of justify sex predators. Sex predators are on both ends. It's just that men don't talk about them a lot. But anyways, about the whole story, I will admit I feel sorry for her, and especially for the situations that she was in, I can say that a lot of them were probably avoidable. Now, that being said, I decided to get a couple of tips of which some I use for my regular going out, how it is that I go out, and some of the things that I do so that you may not get raped, as is the title of this podcast. Now, before I start, let me make this very, very clear. Rape, just like danger, can never be 100% prevented on anyone. You cannot say that you will never be raped, and you can never assure yourself of being 100% protected from that situation. That being said, what I give is tips that will help you reduce the probability of it happening. Okay, we good? All right, now I might as well kick into it. Tip number 1, choose your going out or your night out crew. And this is a universal tip. Now, I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't care who it is that tells me, oh, let's go out. If it's not with people that I trust, then I'm not leaving. I'd rather stay home, because the way I see it, the way I know my life going, because I've been in a lot of situations where no one's watched my back, I can say this for a fact. You have to choose the people that you go out with, because a lot of things happen at night. A lot of things happen when you go out. If anything happens to you, they will be the people that will be reached. If they cannot care for you, then you probably don't need to be going out with them. Always, always, always make sure you choose the people that you go out with. You don't just hit up anyone random and say, oh, are you going out? Yeah, let's go together. That's not how it works. Not everyone will watch your back. And if you don't have at least someone watching your back, especially when you're going for social events, it's going to be very, very hard for you to stay safe. I actually have a group of friends that I usually tend to go out with quite a bit. Now, I specifically go out with them, and I don't just randomly go out with other people, because I know for a fact that if we go and we get a table and we sit down and we're at the club, I know we will try and watch each other's drinks. If the girls are going to the bathroom, they'll go there together. If we're all trying to go home, you won't get ditched. Guys will actually try and check up on you. And it's something that if you haven't done before, you might not notice the value of up until it starts to happen to you. So as I will constantly tell you, make sure you choose the crew that you're going out with. Now, my next point is for the ladies. If someone is making you uncomfortable, it's okay to be dramatic. It's okay to be loud. It's okay to add a little bit of force. As much as I say never go for a guy's balls, hell, mine included, this is that one time when I can say it's fine. You can hit the balls just so that you can get away. If you're at the club and you make a loud noise, there's a good chance that there's people that will turn and look at you. And obviously that will deter the supposed sexual predator that might be trying to make a move on you. Because if they try anything more and there's people around there that feel uncomfortable, especially men, they will actually step up and tell this guy to back off. And that being said, there's also girls that can kind of be like that. If you feel like you're uncomfortable, it's okay to step aside. It's okay to push them away. It's okay to make dramatic noises and tell them to fuck off in the loudest volume possible. It's okay to get a little embarrassed. It's okay to cause some attention as long as it's for your safety. If it's for your safety, then it's probably worth it. On to the next point. And this one is for the guys. This one is for my niggas. Stop trying to pick up girls in the club. And I will repeat this again. Stop trying to pick up random girls at the club. Because this is how a lot of guys get raped. And by raped, I will use the common definition that a lot of our female counterparts like to use. Sex without consent. A lot of men do get raped. It's just that when you go and you tell your boys that it's happened to you, they expect you to feel good about it. They expect you to call it, quote unquote, just a bad decision that you made. They think of it as a fun thing to do, but it isn't. You have to stop trying to pick up random girls at the club. Because when you think about it, are you going to the club for the girls? Are you going to the club for you? Are you going to have fun? Are you going to de-stress or deload? Why are you going to the club? Personally, for me, if I'm going there to have fun and let loose. I don't know about you. But when you find that guys try to pick up girls at the club, you end up losing money or getting raped or both. For those of y'all that have been constant listeners, I've probably shared a story once about a friend who went out and he woke up the following morning at some random ass hotel and he was entirely cleaned out of money. No money on any account that he had access to. Even on his mobile money, he even had a bit of a debt. He literally had to call his fam to come and get him out of the pickle of paying the bill of the hotel. He doesn't even know how he got there. And as much as that would sound like a very funny story to tell people, it's not a very interesting thing to experience. And this was all because this guy was rolling around with these two random girls that he met at the club that were all on him. So I am going to tell you for a fact, stop trying to pick girls at the club. And also, actually, let me even add to this one, because a lot of times you can end up picking a girl from the club. Y'all go home to either your place or hers or somebody's place. Y'all go, y'all smash. Shorty wakes up in the morning, cries rape. And especially if you're the type that doesn't drink, people like me, you're actually fucked. I'm not going to hide that. You're actually fucked, because at least according to Kenyan law, it said that if you're drunk, it's not considered consent. So if you smash her and she's drunk and you're not, you're automatically gonna be charged with rape, because you slept with someone against their consent. Even if they were drunk and they said yes, they can get up and they say they don't remember saying yes. Hell, the fact that they were drunk means that they didn't give consent. That's something that y'all should be very wary about. And by all means, if you guys think that that's a joke, trust me, stories like that pile up on and on and on and on. And a lot of times, because the law favors women, you will find that as a guy, you will always start from the wrong end. You are guilty until proven innocent. So always remember to stop trying to pick up. If you feel like you're too horny, you think you might go and try and make a move, go and beat your meat before you go to the club. There's nothing wrong with that. Shorties do that all the time. They masturbate before they leave for the club. It's something that shorties are actually advised to do. And as a guy, I think it's something that you would probably benefit from if you feel like you're too horny whenever you go out. You'll probably be half as horny and you won't chase as much. On to the next point. And this one is a very universal one. Always watch your drinks. Always watch your drinks. Hell, even though you're not watching all of your other people's, of which you probably should, always watch your drink. People's drinks get spiked day in, day out. People will wake up and not know what the hell happened to them, then they cry rape. Some people will end up actually being raped and they won't know how they ended up where it was that they are. For us to actually avoid getting into such complicated situations, always watch your drink. If you guys need tips on drinks or at least handling your drinks at the club, I'm here for you. Let me give you a few. 1, if you're grabbing a bottle, let's say it's a bottle of beer and you have it with you, always move around with it. Don't just leave it and then go disappear and try and help yourself, blah, blah, blah. You're all going and twerking at the club and shit, or you're grinding on that ass and all, and she about to do the red nose, blah, blah, blah. Always carry your drink with you. Next point, besides just carrying the drink with you, always have the mouth or the top section covered, because they can just slip it in even though you're carrying the drink with you. Now, if you don't know how to cover, if you have a beer and you're trying to think of how it is that you'll cover it while you're moving around, you can always just sort of make a hook with your index and your middle finger. The space in between, hold your drink from there. Trust me, that shit will actually help you quite a bit. If you feel like that's too uncomfortable or it doesn't feel natural, you can just hold it by the neck and press your thumb at the top. You can always move around with it like that. Otherwise, if you feel like you want your drink spiked, you can leave it just open and wait for someone to just, drop a bit of powder in there. You can get roofied up and shit. If you have like a whiskey glass, and of course it's wide, so you can't just put a thumb on it, hold it from the top. Holding it from the top kind of covers it to an extent, so it makes it a hell of a lot easier for you to move around with it and not have your drink spiked. And I'm not just saying this for people that consume alcohol, even the people that don't. On Sunday, I had gone out with a bunch of my friends, and I was talking to a guy that I had met, and he told me that, he used to go to the club and like sip coffee, which seemed very odd. And then I just asked him, so what made you start drinking? He was like, well, I used to roll around with my friends and they really pushed me. And then at some point, my drink was spiked. And then I did it, and then I liked it, and then they made me try it again and again and again, and then I got comfortable doing it. Now, as much as I have nothing against you choosing to take alcohol, I will tell you, even as someone that doesn't drink, your drink can be spiked. And it can be spiked by anyone. So always watch your drink, regardless of whether you're sober, whether you take alcohol. Now on to the next point, which is another universal one. Always check up on each other. And I will repeat this. It sounds like it's a repetition of number 1, but it kind of deserves its own number. Always check up on each other, especially when y'all are going home. Don't just leave the club or leave whatever social event you're going to and then be like, I've left my pal there alone and she looked like she having fun or he looked like he having fun, and then you go home. Always check up on your people, because a lot of times you might not know if someone is eyeing your friend and they're a sex predator in a sense. They're waiting to spike their drink, they're waiting to stab them, to pull them aside, to kidnap them, to do anything. And you'll just leave them alone. They'll end up in a situation, and because you are the last friend or you are one of the friends that they were with, you'll end up being called. Always check up on them. If your girlfriend, and that's for the girls, if your homies is going home with someone else, also check up on them, and check up on them a little more oftenly, because you don't know if they're gonna go home and then end up being mistreated in one way or another. You don't know if they're gonna get raped. Always check up on people, and because you also can't trust the Uber driver sometimes, always tell them to text the minute they get home, because that shit is actually very, very crucial. If someone doesn't text and anything happens to them, it'll be easier for you guys to find out. It's all about trying to make sure that we're all safe as friends, because we still want to continue going out as a crew. We don't want to be in a situation where someone is told that they can't leave the house, or someone ends up getting injured, all because we're all trying to have fun as a crew. So that being said, always check up on your friends. Now, bonus tip. There's no fun in being wasted, so watch your liquor. This one goes across the board. And I'm going to say this as the person that takes care of a lot of people, or at least quite a number of my friends who'd black out. There is no fun in taking care of someone who's blacked out. You're pretty much eating into my fun. And by all means, if you're gonna get wasted, go get wasted on your own terms, at your own space, with your own people. I am not a fan of dealing with people who are wasted, regardless of whether you've gone through a breakup, whether you lost your job, whether you're celebrating some shit. Go have the right amount of liquor. If you're an adult at this point, you should probably understand your body. Not unless if you're just getting into the game of taking alcohol. If you're just easing yourself into it, then maybe fine. You have 1 to maybe 3 chances to get wasted, and your homies should take care of you. Anywhere beyond that, I don't see why it is that you're busy trying to get wasted. Because good is you going out at night, if you can't remember what happened and you wake up in the morning in a different bed looking at a different ceiling with someone right next to you and you don't know what happened. You get me? Or you black out and you wake up the following morning and people are just calling you, talking about how you puked or how you did some stupid shit, blah, blah, blah. There's no fun in it unless you experience it. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Obviously, I'm sure some of you all have others, and some of you might have your drawbacks, might have your statements, your criticisms. Be sure to hit me up on the Break Time on Westside IG page. You can slide me a DM, you can comment. You can comment where I put the poster of the episode, or even the IGTV itself, for those of you all that are listening through IGTV. It has been an amazing first episode. As much as it started off from a slightly more gloomy point of view, slightly more gloomy, slightly more dark point of view, I will holler at you guys on Friday. Take care.